This is a program of Bach compositions, but in a strange new way that no one ever will have heard before. We have solo pieces that we arrange for up to 5 harpsichords, and some pieces that are for more instruments, and we reduce it to 5 instruments. In every case, it's an orchestra of plucked harpsichord consort, and we have all the effects of a big orchestra just with these 5 instruments. It's a very exciting kind of a sound with a lot of energy.
How big is the chance that we're going to hear something like this in Europe?
Only if we are playing it will you be able to hear this, because it's the only fixed ensemble for many harpsichords. We've been together for over 20 years, and we generally prepare a new program from scratch every year. A Rameau program, a Scarlatti program, Handel, lady composers. We have all different themes. We start from basically nothing, a text of maybe 2 lines, and then we grow it out, and it becomes an orchestra of sound.
What is the background of your co-players?
All of these wonderful musicians have been students of mine. I've been very lucky to have them. It's a long time ago. They're all professional musicians now. And we started then because it was so fun. And then we got addicted to it, and we kept doing it, and we added more players. So now we have 5. I think that's now enough people. It's also very difficult to get so many instruments together. We have them in Berlin. We have 5 doubles available in Berlin, where I live. If you can imagine, this means 900 strings to tune before every rehearsal and every concert, and hope for good atmospheric conditions that they could stay somewhat in tune for an hour. It's a big adventure.
Where do these musicians come from?
The people that we have now in this concert, one is half German, half French. One is Russian, but lives in France. One from Finland, living in Berlin. And I am from all over, and I live in Berlin.
Okay. I have one more question. How do you like Bad Krotzingen?
I love Bad Krotzingen, and we are all thinking we have to move here because we like it so much. It's a very special atmosphere. Just walking here to the Schloss every day, it's such a privilege and delightful. We feed the squirrels in the park. And the place itself is very inspiring. All these keyboard instruments, which we know required a lot of thought and care and maintenance and dedication. So the place itself speaks to us all very much. It's a privilege to be here.
You and yourself have a very interesting background, I just realized. Could you tell us something about that?
I didn't know it was so interesting.
I thought so. You have a lot of professions?
Oh, yes. I've been a musician all my life. I teach at the Universität der Künste in Berlin, historische Tasteninstrumente, historical keyboards. But I also am qualified as a doula, that's a birth assistant. And for many, many years, I spent about 4 months in the year just being a doula or a birth assistant in a very poor village in Indonesia. I had a harpsichord there too, which I kept in a glass-walled room with air conditioning. And I would play minuets for the monkeys in the jungle. It was a very magical time. And I was on 24-hour call at the clinic. Sometimes there were 6 births in one day. And that also was a big privilege, to be able to be part of that. People say, why are you doing something so different? And I think that teaching music and helping new moms is kind of the same job. To be caring, to pay a lot of attention to what people need in that moment, And it's marvelous to be able to give some assistance. I'm very happy that I have had this chance.
I do believe so. You originally come from Chicago. How did you come to that kind of instrument?
Oh, I played it in Chicago already, and I have a couple of degrees in that. Then I was in London for about 15 years with a trio that I helped to found. That was Trio Sonnerie with Monica Huggett and Sarah Cunningham. With this group, we traveled constantly and we made a lot of recordings, had a lot of experiences in Australia and Europe, in the States. We played so much together. Then I started to work in Berlin, and it was quite difficult to keep that up over a distance. Now I have a new trio, which is grounded in Finland, so I go quite often to Helsinki to practice and work on productions. We're in the middle of recording our third CD for Glossa. And we always take composers that nobody knows, because personally I don't see a good reason to keep playing the same repertoire 100 times. And I like to bring something out of shadow into the light and make them live again.